reading, there has to be critical analysis strategy, which you have to imbibe into a child. So it's all encompassing. So it's beyond just writing jam. There has to be some, some things that have to go into our curriculum that will, get the child to become self-sufficient, to be able to think out of the box. So thinking out of the box is one of the key things that actually aid research and development, because everybody is just interested in the status quo. So it's everything. So it comes back to the curriculum management, it comes back to the teaching models, it comes into, it dovetails into the environment that you teach, what you are actually exposing our young people, to. So it's a whole lot of work that needs to just go. So I mean, there has to be a sit down when it comes to when it comes to resource management. So yes, human capital development is very key. Now, healthcare, like the World Bank mentioned, like you said also, a healthy nation is actually a wealthy nation, because you have to actually be well to think well. So in reality, there's still a whole lot that has to happen, because I say this all the time. We are a third world country with a first world appetite. So that means we need to catch up with where our taste gland has actually gotten to. We need to develop at the pace at which we are expecting things to happen. So that growth dynamics has to be put in place, and it has to be done properly so that it can carry everybody along. Because if you do A and you're not carrying B along, B will definitely drag A backwards. So that's actually one of the things that we need to actually sit down and have a conversation on.
I do quite agree with that, and the urgency is now. Well, again, another takeaway from that meeting is the fact that the World Bank is committing 30% of its funding to climate-related project, a gold mine, if you ask me. What's your take? Save the environment and earn more. How can we key into this while we still retain part of our fossil fuels, not just necessarily in their totality, as we are trying to do a conversion to have a safer energy, talking about gas?
So it speaks to the fact that, we're talking about the growth generally globally.
Yes.
Now, countries are a bit more saturated when it comes to investment flow. I use the word saturation because some countries cannot be thinking about building refineries anymore. They are thinking about cleaner energy. So what that simply means is that since we have not been able to do so well when it comes to the basic technology, so we need to also take advantage of the fact that those vacuums exist, and then begin to think towards development in those spaces, in that particular space. Now, that space is key because you're looking at a better life for everybody, because fossil fuel will damage the environment, but you need to invest in technologies that will keep make us live better and live longer. So, and then again, you need to look at even the blue economy. Now, a lot of people are now beginning to look at what do we do to safeguard our aquatic lives. What do we do? Because those things actually affect the entire globe. So it affects Africa, it begins to move to other parts of the world. So that's why those investments going towards that direction is actually the way to go. But for us, it is still is a good thing, because we have not done well in the conventional. So it's better we just like I said, we're cashing on what is going on. Because one of the reasons why we go for some of these meetings is actually you need to know where the world is heading at. So if the world and investment from the World Bank and IMF is going 30%, that's a huge sum going into that direction. We need to now begin to plug in. So, and the only way to plug in is look at your economy and then see how do we take advantage. Because I mean, look at deforestation that is happening, with the desertation happening in the north. There has to be something we can do, because I've actually looked at the entire investment that has gone in from the World Bank to other parts of the world. I didn't see much coming to Nigeria. So those are the things we need to build a case around those investments being coming towards Nigeria, because I mean it's very key. It's a better life for everybody. I mean, because it also has a way of affecting our healthcare. Because we don't even have a sophisticated healthcare system. So if you build a better environment, people won't have, so much need to, fall sick and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a good direction for us to go at this point.
Okay, just talking about those investments, you're looking forward to them coming more into Nigeria. Just before the World Bank meetings, I actually happened to attend the Nigeria Economic Summit Group 30th edition, where the same World Bank advised that Nigeria needs to look inwards more for its growth and development rather than looking out for aid from outside. Just briefly, what's your take as you look forward to some of those investments? That 30%, the chunk of that 30% coming to Nigeria.
Those things are very critical. I actually will answer your question with something that happened some years ago. I was talking to a particular, fund manager in Netherlands, many years ago to come, help set up a cassava processing plant in one of the states in Nigeria. So at the final decision, they had to talk to the owners of these funds. So by the time they spoke to the actual owners of the funds, one of the reasons why they declined was that the same fund manager, the investor has an investment with some Nigerians outside Nigeria. And then he said by the time he did his check, he found out that those Nigerians don't have any investment in Nigeria. So for him, it was a bad case. So why would he, a foreigner, want to do business, and then he's doing business with those Nigerians outside Nigeria, and those people don't have any business in Nigeria. So it's called agglomeration. So so what testimonies do when it comes to, passing the message, things are happening well. So if Nigerians are not investing in Nigeria, so it goes to show that the climate is not so conducive. So we need to have a policy direction that will encourage Nigerians to invest in Nigeria. Then again, looking at our ability to become efficient. I say this all the time. The greatest denominator in investment drive and investment promotion is efficiency in your system. Look at the countries that are doing well when it comes to ease of doing business. Singapore and the European countries. You see, at every point in time, all you find in efficiency in the system. Because every investor wants to put money, yes. They want to make profit, yes. You have a large population, yes. But
this is where the market is.
So, yeah, the market is here, no doubt about it.
My apologies to end the conversation at this point. This is a conversation that is ongoing. For one of time, let's take this commercial break briefly. We'll be back.
Do you know about the federal government's 50 billion naira presidential conditional grant scheme? This program is being implemented by the Bank of Industry. It is a federal government palliative grant aimed at supporting businesses in key sectors of the economy across the 774 local government areas in the country. Already, the bank has reached the targeted 1,000 beneficiaries in each of the 774 local government areas across the country, with each beneficiary receiving 50,000 naira. The beneficiaries include traders, artisans, creative industry, ICT, food and associated services, transportation, and logistics. In addition to this, there's a 75 billion naira federal government MSME loan scheme and the 75 billion naira federal government manufacturing sector loan scheme, which are ongoing. This message is brought to you by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Job Creation and MSMEs.
Well, it's time to take a look at the global market. Maria, how is the market looking like this afternoon?
The markets are bullish this afternoon. Actually, we have European markets which were lower, reversing earlier gains as investors revealed the geopolitical situation in the Middle East. The figures show DAX going down by 0.24%. We have FTSE also down by 0.40%, and CAC went up 0.08%. For Asian markets, Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 and its Topix index climbed, supported by a weak yen amid political uncertainty as the ruling LDP lost its parliamentary majority. The figures show Nikkei going up by 1.82%, Shanghai Composite higher by 0.68%, and Seng Index followed suit at 0.04%. U.S. equity futures jump as investors look for a batch of mega-cap technology earnings to keep driving the Nasdaq Composite to new heights this week. Looking at the figures, we have Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 0.27%, S&P 500 jumped 0.39%, Nasdaq futures followed suit at 0.57%. Africa markets are mixed this afternoon. We have South Africa JSE top 40, which was higher by 0.02%. The figures show Tunisia Chin Index also following suit at 0.32%. Namibia Index followed suit at 0.17%. And we have Ghana, which was marginal. That's a summary of the global market update. I'm Maria Abduzakari. It's back to you now.
Thank you very much, Maria. And on that note, we call it a wrap on Business Express for today. Do keep a date with us for a fresh edition tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Join us.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere.
This is the network service of the NTA.
In a world where information is at our fingertips, the power and responsibility of sharing information cannot be overstated. Today in Nigeria, we are witnessing a troubling trend where individuals leverage on social media and other platforms to submit petitions against citizens based on false information. This baseless accusation not only tarnish reputations, but also have far-reaching implications on the lives of those targeted. The ramifications of these false petitions are calamitous. Innocent individuals can find themselves entangled in legal battles, losing their livelihoods and personal relationships due to unfounded claims. Victims of such misinformation often suffer emotional and psychological, facing stigma and distrust from their communities. Aisha Muhammad is my name, and presenting with me is
Abbas Abubakar Umar. Thank you for joining us on another edition of The Eagle. You must be greedy. Yes. That's why you always fall for that 100% return on investment offers. Do you have money to invest? Are you busy and looking for where to put your money? Do you easily fall in love? Do you find time to fact check the information and business offers that you get? Okay, I want you to listen. Businesses, ideas, and good juicy offer does not come easy, and of course you cannot get 100% on such a short period of time. If actually it does exist, they won't tell you about it. So I want you to understand that those fraudsters would have been out of business if not because of you, because you hardly find time to check the details. You are being swooped by their amazing offer. Now, you need to put them out of business. When you have a business proposal, check it, find time, and if you don't or don't have the time, do not invest. Be at alert, be careful.
Determined to break the criminal networks and damage associated with internet fraud across the country, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has unveiled a 24-hour cyber rapid response text. The unveiling, which was done at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa Abuja by Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, is meant to bring up digital and accelerated information transmission on internet fraud from the public and on information. It is provided with both local and international telephone numbers through which the EFCC can be reached on a 24-hour basis on matters relating to cybercrime in Nigeria and across the globe. Ojochoktami Eche was there and now reports.
The unveiling of the Cybercrime Rapid Response Service with the theme, Alternatives to Cybercrime, Optimizing Cyber Skills for National Development, which was part of the highlights marking the National Cybercrime Summit organized by the EFCC, had the support of the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption ROLAC Program, European Union, and International IDEA.
So, this is what we'll do. We're going to, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, officially, it's been launched. The 247 Rapid Response Service Desk of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
A documentary on the activities of the EFCC in the last 1 year of Ola Olukoyede's resourceful leadership was also presented at the event. The documentary, featuring the period between October 2023 and September 2024, showed that the EFCC secured 3,455 convictions and made monetary recoveries of 248,750,049,365 naira 52 kobo. 105,423,190.99, 53,133 pounds sterling, 64 pence, 172,547 euros, 10 cents, 1,300 Indian rupees, 3,400 Canadian dollars, 74,899 Chinese yuan, 740 Australian dollars, 170 United Arab Emirates dirham, 73,000 Korean won, 7,821,375 West African CFA, and 50 South African rands.
October the 18th, 2023, marked the commencement of a new phase in the evolution of the EFCC. Ola Olukoyede took the reins as the 5th executive chairman of the commission. While his choice by President Bola Tinubu as EFCC chair took some by surprise, Olukoyede assumed office with clear ideas on the direction he wanted to steer the commission. At his confirmation before the Senate, he articulated a 3-pronged agenda for the fight against corruption, which are using anti-corruption to stimulate the economy, professionalism, and the rule of law. His first step after assumption of office was to declare his assets and mandated all personnel of the commission to do likewise. It was the first signal that it would not be business as usual.
Every one of us will declare our assets. And let's start with that.
Speaking in a keynote address following the unveiling, Mrs. Tinubu noted that the theme of the summit resonated deeply with the current challenges cybercrime posed, not only in Nigeria but across the globe. According to her, cybercrime is not a crime against individuals and businesses. It is an assault on the collective integrity, economic stability, and the future of the youth. She praised the EFCC for devotedly seeking solution to the lingering menace. She also stated that Nigeria was confronted with the reality of the dangers and new vulnerabilities the digital age is posing to humanity.
As we gather here today, we are confronted with a pressing reality. The digital age, while offering unprecedented opportunities, has always exposed us to new vulnerabilities. It is therefore crucial that we address this challenge head-on and explore not only the harmful consequences of cybercrimes, but also the sustainable alternatives that can redirect our youth towards productive and positive endeavors. I am informed that thousands have been arrested, prosecuted, and convicted, yet there is still no indication that the number of those involved is decreasing, with young people accounting for more than 60% of the population. The involvement of youth in cybercrime is a threat to the nation's quest for economic development and stability. Combating cybercrime requires a multifaceted approach that involves various stakeholders, including parents, law enforcement agencies, educational institutions, the private sector, religious leaders and traditional rulers, business leaders, communities, and the civil societies.
Executive Chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, observed that the menace of cybercrimes, like most economic and financial crimes, is a burning challenge that cannot be denied, ignored, or wished away. The national discourse on cybercrime, the EFCC boss said, was necessitated by the overarching need to articulate opinions and build greater strength against the scourge of cybercrimes. Further in his speech, he observed that the enormity of challenges posed to individuals and nations by cybercrimes are grievous, stressing that as individuals, youth's involvement in these crimes is distorting and corrupting acceptable family values. In financial terms, Olukoyede stated that 2,328 cases of cybercrime occur daily globally, with the global loss projected to hit $10.5 trillion by 2025. The implication of all this, he said, is that if left unchecked, cybercrimes portend grave dangers to the entire world, which is the reality stalking the Commission's fight against these crimes.
Let me use this opportunity to appeal to the conscience of our parents and head of institutions here present across the country and to regard the fight against internet fraud as a compelling endeavor. The quality of the future leadership of our nation depends on what we do with the issue of cybercrime today. Tomorrow is not a promise. Tomorrow is a fruit of preparation. We must all join hands together to tackle the hydra-headed monster which internet fraud has become. I cannot conclude this address without appreciating the vision, courage, and the sincerity of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in offering us free hand. If you want to clap for the President, you can go ahead and do that, please. Thank you very much.
Minister of State for Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, while commending the EFCC in its fight against cybercrime, stated that the Commission has done so well in planning and engaging the youths in every state. He stated that Nigerian youths as a whole promised the EFCC to do everything in their power to work with the Commission.
The government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have bring the government close to every young people in this country. And we said, majority of those people that engage themselves in cybercrime are in the school. 40 million Nigerian youth are students. The president said, I will give you a student's loan.
The chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum and Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak commended the EFCC for organizing the summit and pledged his support to the Commission in its efforts to redeem the youth from the path of cybercriminalities.
I commend the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for organizing this important summit. I thank Mr. President for the political will to strengthen institutions of nation building. This gathering has brought different perspectives on the issue of cyber crimes. We have heard subject experts and people with lived experiences offer their insights on this subject. These insights will go a long way in our search for a workable paradigm against crimes. In line with this, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we need to integrate our cultural legacy and the impact it may have on the perception of crime. I'm impressed with what the EFCC, the NTA, and the National Eradication Agency, amongst others, are already doing in the new media and in our basic schools to reshape the minds of our young people on the issues of crime, drug abuse, and patriotism. This effort should be taken to another level so that we may have a national consensus on what behaviors constitute our irreducible cultural legacy as Nigerians. You have our support in this regard. In addition, we commend the EFCC on the efforts they're making by putting this gathering together once again. And I'm sure after this summit, we'll all live here better informed and geared towards improving the perception on cybercrime.
More goodwill messages came from His Eminence Alhaji Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, the Sultan of Sokoto.
As a mother, grandmother, as the mother of the nation, that shows the serious nature of what EFCC is doing today by inviting all of us to be here this morning. Let me first say how delighted we are to be invited to this program, this National Cybercrime Summit. I'm particularly encouraged by the large number of youth that turn up for this very important program. This type of program must be taken to the states in collaboration with the governors, traditional and religious institutions, so as to create clubs in various tertiary institutions, so that we know that yes, this thing doesn't end in Abuja here. We must continue and continue and continue. So, Ola, we are ready to partner with you, to support you, and we'll do our best to make this country a better country. We have hope in this country, and like I said, I've said it so many times, I'll keep on saying it. We will never ever lose hope. This country will be a better country, inshallah. At the end of all the struggles, we turn out to be much, much better than we were.
His Majesty Igwe Nnemeka Ugochukwu Achebe, Obi of Onitsha.
I'd like to congratulate the EFCC for this program. I'd like to congratulate the chairman for his leadership. I'd like to congratulate all the partners who have supported the program today.
His Imperial Majesty Oba Adeyeye Enitong Ogunwusibe Ojaja II, Ooni of Ife, represented by His Royal Majesty Dr. Olufolarin Olukayode Ogunsonwu, the Alara of Ilara Kingdom, Ekpe, Lagos.
It is no longer news that yearly several billions of dollars and thousands of gifted and creative, beautiful minds are lost to the menace of cybercrime vis-a-vis the toga and negative stereotyping often experienced by responsible and law-abiding Nigerians due to such acts. The painful and unintended consequences of acts of cybercrimes, which are oftentimes fatal, goes beyond the legal punitive measures against the individual perpetrators.
Head of Program International Idea Danladi Plang, among others.
But permit me, on behalf of International Idea, our Regional Director for Africa and West Asia, to commend the efforts of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for organizing this very important event. And I join those that have spoken earlier on to say that we are strongly behind you, to support you in this endeavor and all the other work that you are doing to fight economic and financial crimes and corruption in Nigeria.
First and foremost, I want to thank the EFCC chairman and the management for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to speak to you on a subject that is not just critical to Nigeria, but for the entire global digital economy. As we gather here today, we confront an urgent reality. Nigeria, a nation with rich culture, talent, and limitless potential, is unfortunately grappling with the global menace of cybercrime, which has cast shadow over our national reputation.
Highlights of the program include panel discussions on alternative frameworks to insulate youths from cybercrimes and presentation of award to winners of the EFCC 2024 essay competition organized for students in secondary and tertiary schools in the country, with cash prizes ranging from 300,000 naira to 800,000 naira. Ojochukutami Eche, reporting for The Eagle.
We know not every successful young man out there is into corruption, but what do you make of an undergraduate having hundreds of millions in his account, the choicest of houses, several exotic cars, without an inheritance or a legitimate source of income? Haba.
Wetin be all this one self now? Person don't tire. See as they hustle now. They go house to house, they see my clothes. They try to make them now. You just no go see them now. If person don't make them finish now, I go to say the person they do yahoo yahoo. This one don't tire me. Oh. Bring up.
That's not true. Here at EFCC, we support legit businesses. But if you keep scamming and shouting, it's my business. No. It's our business to stop that evil business. As they commit crime, now we Nigerians, they suffer. As they misbehave, now we Nigerians, then they tag. They will tag the Nigerians, they will tag the youths, they will tag adults, pikin safe. In fact, all of us. Small travel where I go travel. Then go they look me like say I thief for abroad. Why now? Now, tell me, guy, Is it your business or now our concern? We hate seeing people behind bars. We actually don't like it when we see young people being prosecuted every day. But criminality is criminality, and in reality, there is no small crime. We want the numbers of our arrests and prosecutions to go down. That is our aim. There must be a change.
Hello, Nigeria. My name is Adewale Adedamola. As you all know, Ade herself. I am partnering with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. I urge you to join me in the fight against economic and financial crimes, especially cybercrime. Let us prove to the world that not all Nigerian youths are scammers. Don't judge us based on a few scammers. We are actually very creative and hardworking youths. My generation says no to crime. I am Gen Z, and I say yes to justice and integrity. Let us come together to fight against crime in our country. Say no to crime. I tell you what, EFCC.
And that's how we draw the curtains on this edition of The Eagle. We will be back next week with another interesting package. Let's keep the conversation going. Send us an email at info@efcc.gov.ng or call us on 0809 3322 644. Also follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
If you notice or suspect any economic and financial crime happening anywhere, anytime, simply use EFCC's mobile eye app, Eagle Eye, to report. Let me also invite you to a live discussion with EFCC on EFCC Connect, happening on our Twitter Spaces and Facebook every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Do you have any burning question to ask EFCC? EFCC Connect is the right platform to do so. And listen to EFCC Radio 97.3 FM, the voices against economic and financial crimes. I am Abbas Abubakar Umar.
I am Aisha Muhammad. Remember to stay safe always. Until next time, goodbye. God bless Nigeria. Be kind to yourself and to others around you, and do enjoy the rest of the day.
Now, if you are that person that you cannot even move from one pole to another, or you cannot move this distance, you notice this numbness, or the numbness is too much, and you notice your body is like your circulation is not going at all, or you notice this kind of pains during your joints, even your feet. At your feet, you feel this sensation or your pains. You notice you cannot even move because of your knee, this osteoarthritis. If you have all those kind of challenges, please try and visit us at Greenland Natural Medicine. It's a center where you can solve your problem. Just come and give us your problem. We assure you will not go back with them. And also our services we render is among the therapy we mentioned earlier. This traditional physiotherapy performs it like a magic. It just works like magic. If you visit us, your pains will go immediately. You will not leave here without your stick by God's grace. What we advise you is just try and visit us and come and have this touch of healing in Greenland Natural Medicine. We also have the one that has to do with your fertility. When we talk about fertility, fertility is very broad. There are so many things we cannot mention on air when it comes to fertility, please. But if you have anything that has to do with your fertility, be it from the woman, be it from the male, please, the husband. Once you have issue and you know your issue already, be it the spouse, you have been trying the surrogate, you have been trying so many things and it's not working. Your IVF, all those things, and it's not working out. Please just try and visit us here. We are not the maker of the children, but we will give you things that will help you to recover and be able to have your own children. In Greenland Natural Medicine, we have them a lot. We cannot elaborate much on. We have the one that has to do with your blood pressure. We have the one that has to do with your sugar levels. We have the one that has to do with your cholesterol. Yes, cholesterol. And if you are this person that is very fat or you are obese, rather, please just come here and give us a complaint and we assure you the problem will never remain the same. If you have this pains that has to do with your early menopause, madam, the early menopause have issue it contributes a lot in women's health. If you have issue that has to do with menopause and you noticed your menopause is coming as early as so much, please try and give us a call and visit any of our nearest branch. They will advise you and they will give you a best thing that will help you to get rid of all this your menopause symptoms and all the kind of challenges that can be coming up that of your menopause. If you have any kind of challenges like that, please try and visit us at Greenland Natural Medicine. It's a center for alternative therapy. Your dime, you will never regret it. Spending a dime in Greenland Natural Medicine, you will never regret it. When it comes to all those things I've mentioned, we have specialists in each of the departments. If you have any kind of health challenges, in Greenland, we run it like a hospital, but it's alternative medicine. It's purely alternative, where you take your organic medicine, you use them to take care of your health challenges. Please and please, if you have any kind of health challenges, just try and visit us at ongoing here in Greenland Natural Medicine, where our office is located. We have our branch in Port Harcourt, we have our branch in Lagos, we have our branch in Abuja. All these branches are ready to satisfy you, are ready to take your complaint, and are ready to give you the best of services when we call about services. Our services are available in all those 3 branches. Please and please, try and visit us. We assure you your problem will never remain the same. Thank you. I remain blessed as you come.
Hello, good to have you join us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguele. President Bola Tinubu has directed the security agencies to provide an immediate, adequate security cover for the personnel of the Transmission Company of Nigeria in order to restore power supply to the northern states currently experiencing power outage. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu says while briefing President Bola Tinubu on the power supply situation in the north. After the briefing, he stated that 17 states of the north are currently in blackout due to the vandalization of the Shiroro-Kaduna transmission line, a major line supplying power to the northern part of the country.
You are sure of your safety in the area. Why it has escalated to this level is because we've not been able to guarantee security of lives of those that will work there. But Mr. President has assured me that he has also instructed the NSA, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, and Chief of Air Staff to provide the required security for the people that will fix the demolished line.
The minister also spoke on reasons for incessant collapse of the national grid in parts of the country.
You said 3 times. The grid actually was disturbed one time, and we deliberately shut it down the second time because of the explosion of the transformer at the Jeba plant. Before this, the last disturbance of the grid was about 4 months ago, which meant that we have been managing the grid. Let me tell you, the truth of the matter is we have old infrastructure. We have a national grid that is more than 50 years old. We have a national grid whose transmission lines are weak. The towers are falling. And the substations, the transformers are old. In fact, the transformer that actually exploded in Jeba was 47 years old. We've been trying to revamp this, to change them, but they cannot all be changed overnight. So it's like you're having a rickety car. You'll be expecting breakdown once in a while. What we continue to do is continue to manage the grid to prevent frequent occurrence of the grid disturbance until we're able to completely overhaul the grid itself. Then we'll have reliable grid. Secondly, we are working on establishing what is called a super grid, which is a backup or failover optional grid. If the national grid has a problem, there will be an alternative route through which power can be transmitted.
To tackle insecurity in Africa, strong and effective institutions must be put in place. This was emphasized by the former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta at the inaugural lecture of Course 33 of the National Defense College, Nigeria. The former Kenyan president, who was a guest lecturer, calls for the formation of common front among African leaders and security agencies to rid the continent of security challenges, which will promote economic activities.
And the way in which they function as a collective towards the pursuit of national as well as regional objectives. To address the problem systematically, we must have some level of introspection across all layers of government and politics. By instituting reforms at the national level, we are laying the foundation to reinvent ourselves as Africans at the sub-regional, regional, and continental level.
Commandant of the National Defense College, Rear Admiral Olumuyiwa Olotu, notes that personnel must prepare to improve research on the security situation in Africa and proffer practical solutions to field officers.
The inaugural lecture is organized to launch the participants into the course and to prepare them for the scholarly activities in line with the mission of this college.
Senior personnel from Nigerian Armed Forces, Police Force, and 23 from foreign countries attended the course. Still on security issues, the Office of the National Security Advisor has convened a meeting of stakeholders to strengthen the country's ability to protect its digital infrastructure from emerging threats. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the application of digital technology has heightened the vulnerability of digital assets in the country.
Digital infrastructure faces a range of cyber threats and attacks. Aside from threats to private computers and mobile devices, telecommunication and banking networks are also subjects of large-scale attacks.
We have strengthened our resolve to effectively confront these threats. This workshop provides the platform for us to jointly develop the roadmap for the implementation of the initiatives spelled out in the executive order.
In 2023, more than 14 billion naira was lost to breaches to digital infrastructure.
These are only figures reported to the NCC. These figures illustrate not only a direct financial burden, but also an extensive impact on our services, economy, and national security.
In addition to bolstering cyber resilience, the forum is focused on strengthening stakeholders' ability to physically protect critical infrastructure.
The armed forces are committed to take the challenge and work with the Office of the National Security Advisor on whatever resolution is being reached and whatever strategies have been developed.
It is Mr. President's strategy, policy, and determination to improve the power sector, because that's what all these things sit on.
When a critical information infrastructure is being cut off, you cannot talk to anybody, you cannot even book your flight, you cannot travel, you cannot do anything. So that is how bad it will be if these things happens. The expectation is to work together, whole of government and whole of society approach. It is all of us here together that can deal with it.
The bulk of efforts is on protecting 13 critical national infrastructure. Just like the popular saying, security is everyone's business, this platform stressed the need for collective responsibility towards the protection of critical government infrastructure and information, and also the adoption of a whole-of-society approach. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Well, have you ever received an urgent appeal from a friend, maybe a colleague or relation for financial help online? Well, it may sound genuine, but verifying might save you from falling victim to cyber criminals. Tackling cyber crimes in Nigeria, guest on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, insists requires diversified awareness creation. Lydia Sampson will tell us more.
Being cyber aware is crucial to navigating the enormous opportunity provided online through the internet. These experts says will also arm vulnerable internet users to identify risk factors and suspicious unsolicited messages from cyber criminals.
So for you to be a cyber expert or cyber investigator, you must have acquired the skills, that will enable you to navigate in your investigations.
Don't just connect to any network, because somebody might just make that network available to lure you in order to have access to your banking codes and all. Some people even know the dangers involved and they still go ahead and do it.
Parents must also educate their children who use internet for educational purposes to be aware of the risk factors and not chatting with unknown persons or providing personal or family details.
You tell your children, be careful when crossing the road. You tell them, if you go somewhere and you see trouble coming, you move,
Try to avoid it.
So you have to also empower them, because at the end of the day, whatever your child does, especially for a man, for example, they bear your name.
Developing a dynamic ecosystem for everyone to take responsibility to make the cyberspace secure for all users, the guests say, must be prioritized. They suggested having a societal conversation to figure out how social media can be monitored, drawing boundaries. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Military religious institutions must strive to promote mental resilience and emotional well-being among troops. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, gave the advice in a message to participants of the Directorate of Islamic Affairs, Nigerian Army Annual Training Conference in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
While they toil day and night their constitutional responsibility of defending the nation's territorial integrity, the Nigerian Army, led by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, cater for the well-being of personnel for optimal performance in the discharge of their duties. This time around, the Directorate of Islamic Affairs is charting a new course by imparting Quranic principles and prophetic wisdom to strengthen warrior ethos among troops. The position of spiritual leaders and advisors in the Nigerian Army cannot be overstressed given the enormous challenges of uplifting the morale of troops.
This reinforces the need for us all to be better prepared with new ideas to effectively analyze information in support of combat troops. a role in which imams play a crucial part. By providing moral guidance, emotional support, and fostering resilience,
the Directorate of Islamic Affairs, in conjunction with Nigerian Army School of Islamic Affairs, had been up and doing in this effort, in line with world best practices.
The theme for the training is enhancing Nigerian Army personnel effective performance through authentic Islamic teachings and warrior ethos within a joint environment. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
In other news, the United Nations Development Programme has handed over rehabilitated police station and barracks to the Yobe State Police Command. The newly refurbished facilities are to enhance the capacity of police personnel to effectively combat crime in the state. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
This station had previously suffered series of attacks by Boko Haram insurgents, something which made it difficult for officers and men of the formation to operate effectively. However, the facility is now wearing a new look after it has been refurbished by the United Nations Development Programme under its Regional Stabilization Fund, showcasing the commitment of Nigeria and the UN agency. Another facility refurbished and furnished by the UNDP is the police barracks, located within the station, aims at providing secure and comfortable accommodation for police operatives serving in the area.
However, it is built. Maintenance is very key, especially for the usage of this particular dormitory.
Without security, there will be no meaningful development. As such, it is duty-bound on all of us to make sure, especially the police who are the major beneficiary of this infrastructure, to stand firmly and defend this edifice so that we can be able to make progress.
The team of UNDP also inspected newly rehabilitated and equipped Skills Acquisition Center in Buniadi, where young people are being trained in various skills such as carpentry, fabrication, tailoring, knitting, and charcoal briquette production, among others. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
150 junior civil servants in Akwa Ibom State are now landlords, courtesy of the state government. Our correspondent, Kelvin Samuel, reports that this is in fulfillment of Governor Umo Eno campaign promises. We join Kelvin now, who is standing by in Uyo, to give us more insight on how impactful this will be for the civil servants.
Very credible. The governor himself was there from the beginning to the end, and the entire forms were gathered together in a particular place where it is stirred. And after stirring, somebody will be called from the crowd to come and pick one form. Any form that is picked belongs to a person, and any name on that form becomes the owner of an apartment in the Grace Estate. And also talking about whether they've started parking in, as you can see, we are live at the Grace Estate, and from the look of things, the people are yet to park in. Even though the governor had directed that 2 weeks after that event, their keys should be handed over to them to start parking into their apartments. But from the look of things, they are yet to do so. Now, talking about the next line of action of Akwa Ibom State government to this effect, the governor has already embarked on what he calls compassionate homes. This is a 200 series of fully equipped homes for the poor and vulnerable across the 31 local government areas of the state. The governor hopes to complete these 200 different buildings and hand over to the beneficiaries between the beginning of his tenure to the end of the second year in office, making 100 houses per year. And so far, 35 of them have been completed and handed over, while 155 of others are ongoing as we speak. That is it from this end. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Kelvin, for that update. Quite commendable, we will say, for the state government. In other news, President Bola Tinubu congratulates Olori Onikepo Akonde as she joyfully marks her 80th birthday tomorrow. In a statement by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the president describes her as a true pioneer who became Nigeria's first female Minister of Industry and the second female president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Celebrating her contributions to the nation's public and private sectors. He prayed for many more years of health and wealth for the devoted wife of Oba Adebayo Akonde. Founding members of the Women Trafficking and Child Labor Eradication Foundation, WhatClef, is 25 years of impactful service and founding members of the organization. Well, that's what they're celebrating, and stakeholders promise to do more. Amina Baba Suleiman reports on the celebration.
In the year 1999, WhatClef observers are in the view that the foundation has achieved a significant milestone since its establishment 25 years ago. It is the effort of the founding fathers that brought about NAPTIP with the passage of its anti-trafficking bill by the National Assembly, which was signed into law by the former President Olusegun Obasanjo in the year 2003.
Her unwavering dedication to combating human trafficking and child labor has changed countless lives. She did not merely witness the suffering of women and children, she took decisive action to lead the charge for change. To felicitate with those who have benefited from saving them from trafficking, human trafficking, saving them from child labor. It was a blot on Nigeria.
Amina Titi Abubakar, the initiator and founder of WhatClef, emphasized the critical need for continued collaboration among stakeholders to tackle the increasing challenges of trafficking confronting Nigeria and beyond.
To me, I did not doubt that all forms of sexual exploitation are incompatible with human dignity. We fight to save animals. We fight to preserve our environment. We fight drug trafficking. We fight currency trafficking. Why not fight to safeguard and preserve human dignity?
Human trafficking and child labor. I'm deeply honored and delighted to be speaking to you about the issue that affects all of us, together with our differences in status and background.
Nigerian First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, represented by the wife of the Vice President, Nana Kashin Shettima, delivered a heartfelt message congratulating the founder of WhatClef.
The issues of trafficking and child labor are painful realities of women and children, who are often the most vulnerable to this menace.
They called upon all citizens to join the movement to eradicate trafficking and protect the rights of vulnerable population. Amina Baba Suleiman, NTA News.
From the judiciary scene, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, has urged judicial officers to reject actions that could tarnish the image of the judiciary. The CJN gave the charge in Abuja at the opening of Batch B induction course for newly appointed judicial officers of the Superior Courts of Record. Chukunonso Mwambweze reports.
Converged here at the National Judicial Institute, Abuja, for the Stream 2 of the Institute's 2024 induction course for judicial officers of superior courts in the country are the newly appointed judges of the Federal and State High Courts, National Industrial Court, caddies of the Sharia Courts of Appeal, and judges of the Customary Courts of Appeal.
The judiciary serves as the backbone of democracy.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, while warning judicial officers regarding the indiscriminate granting of ex parte orders, charged the participants to execute their duties with unwavering integrity and dedication in order to reinforce public confidence in the nation's justice system.
Judicial discretion in the issuance of remand orders must be exercised with careful consideration of the particular circumstances of the case. We must remain conscious of our control over our courts and uphold this responsibility with firmness and prudence.
The correlation between judicial efficiency and capacity building is one that cannot be overemphasized. Hence, following this all-important induction course, we look forward to receiving and recording the participation of your lordship in various training programs tailored to build their capacity in various areas of law and to equally enhance your functionality.
With the theme, repositioning the course for better justice delivery, the induction course is specially designed to indoctrinate his lordships in the peculiarities of the higher bench, as well as to familiarize them with the art and craft of justice delivery pertaining to their new roles. Chukunonso Mwabweze, NTA News.
In Akure now, we're hearing national and south-west leaders of the All Progressives Congress are in Akure, the Ondo State capital, for the inauguration of the party's National Campaign Council for the November 16 governorship election in the state. We join our correspondent now, Paul, who is standing by to give us more insight as they count down the state, talking about the state counts down to the November 16 election.
We are at the International Culture and Event Center, known as the Dome here in Akure, Ondo State, where the leadership of the All Progressive Congress is inaugurating the campaign committee for this election. Well, what they've done so far is that the governor of Lagos State, who is also the chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum, has been given the mantle of leadership to oversee this special national assignment. He is to be assisted by the immediate past Deputy Secretary, the immediate past Deputy Senate President of the outgoing Senate. That is talking about Ovie Omoagege, who is acting as the Secretary of the committee. They are to synergize with the campaign committee at the local level here in the state to ensure that they go through the campaign process with a view to emerging victorious come Saturday, 16th November 2016. We also have other members and subcommittees that have just been inaugurated by the national chairman of the APC, talking about Alhaji Umar, Abdullah Umar Ganduje. That is what they just done now. And the governor of the state, who is also the candidate of the party, has given assurance for better leadership going forward after the elections, with plans to consolidate on its policies and programs so far.
All right, Paul, thank you so much. I'm sure the people are anticipating a better election going forward. Thank you, Paul. From Akure, we cross to Lagos to join Adeola. She'll bring us our next set of reports. Adeola.
Q. Ruth. Lagos State House of Assembly has reiterated commitment to ensuring compliance with the Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy as the third tier of government in the state. This came to the fore at a second public hearing on a bill for a law to provide for local government system, establishment and administration, and to consolidate all laws on local government in Lagos. Musa Toliat completes the report.
Speaker, Lagos House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, who was represented by the deputy, said the gathering is meant to give assurance that the bill is not targeted at abolishing the existing 37 local council development areas in the state.
It's public hearing. Nobody's killing the LCDA. We have come to say, okay, this is the Supreme Court judgment. How do we go about it?
The proposed bill is to provide the much-needed legal framework aimed at ensuring that our local government provides an efficient and effective service delivery.
An overview of the bill was necessary to set the tone for contributions from stakeholders and other participants.
It's not clear who appoints the LCDA chairman. It needs to be clear. Just give them their resources. Let them go and implement their resources. Let their councillors hold them accountable. Let their people hold them accountable.
A session on interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment as regards local government autonomy and grey areas in the local government administration bill.
The federal government is set to enroll 10 million out-of-school children back to the classrooms and reforming the Almajiri educational system within the next 4 years. These steps are expected to also avail the children the opportunity to acquire vocational skills for self-reliance. Executive Secretary of the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children Education, Mohammed Sani Idris, stated this during a Katza visit to the Oba of Lagos, His Royal Majesty Oba Rilwan Akiolu. Amaka Obo has the report.
The National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children Education was created by an Act of Parliament in 2023 to address the dangers faced by out-of-school children who sometimes are recruited into banditry, a threat to national security. This unresolved challenge has brought about a nationwide campaign by the leadership of the Commission in collaboration with opinion leaders across the country. The Commission visited the Oba of Lagos, His Royal Majesty Oba Rilwan Akiolu, to solicit the support of the Royal Father in achieving the President's agenda in reducing the number of out-of-school children to the barest minimum.
All able and willing leaders and traditional rulers in this country to set up a committee with the National Orientation Agency to first of all go around and lecture on the goodies we derive from these things we want to do.
We are encouraged by his words. This has got to show us that Nigerians have serious concern about the issue of Almajiri and out-of-school children, and that everybody is passionate about this problem.
The National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children Education in Nigeria seeks to ensure that children from all parts of the country have access to quality education. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
We're done from Lagos for now. Nationwide will continue in our Sokoto Network Center when we return from this break.
MPC Foundation, as part of her commitment towards improving the health of Nigerians through impactful health initiative, is providing free cancer screening for men aged 40 and above and women aged 35 and above. We will be at the following locations. 1. K-Medics Diagnostics, number 26 Langwera Street off Aliyu Makama Road, Barnawa, Kaduna. 2. Musafaha Imaging Center, 1st Avenue, Kwararafa Quarters, opposite Arabic Primary School, Atiku Abubakar Way, Makurdi, Benue State. 3. Image Diagnostics Center, 9B Elegbam Road, opposite Port Harcourt Polytechnic, Romola, Rivers State. 4. Specialist Diagnostics Center, Jekadafari Ward, Toshangona, Gombe State. 5. Union Diagnostics Akure, 124 Iwalewa Junction, Hospital Road, opposite Unimed, Akure, Ondo State. And lastly, Shore Care Diagnostics, Road 17, Plot 10B, Federal Housing Estate, Umoguma, by General Hospital Road, Owerri, Imo State. Your health is your wealth. Early detection saves lives. Mark the date 29th October to 1st November 2024 and join us at a location near you. Don't miss this chance. Get screened, stay informed, and stay strong.
A new wealth base for the country as President Tinubu commits his administration to unlock potentials in livestock development in Nigeria. What does it project in terms of employment, protein and milk needs of the population, income generation, and expanding the export frontier of non-oil sectors of the economy? This and more on NTA Tuesday Live, coming up on the 29th October 2024. Growing the economy outside the mono-dominated oil sector. Conversation with experts and relevant stakeholders. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Inclusive, incisive, and educative as ever. Join us.
It's your vocals for it. It can be one of your songs, by the way.
People fall in love in mysterious ways.
So why did they call you Evil Child? They called me that when I was in school. That was my nickname then in school. Any reason in particular why they called you Evil Child? Yeah, because I was actually one of the brilliant students. Oh, say over me! That answer right there. You must be, if it's not this boy, problem. That means people that answer this service, they have body odor. Hey.
Hey Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
Join us in Sokoto. The Nigerian Customs Service Kebbi State Command has handed over confiscated items with a duty paid value worth 350 million naira to the concerned authorities. Jafar Yusuf Ilo was at the handing and taking over in our reports.
Items handed over includes 180 donkey skin, 262 kegs of premium motor spirit PMS, 267 bales of second-hand clothing, 74 cartons of medicament, 2 jerrycans of oxidized acid, 850 kg bags of foreign parboiled rice. Controller Ehanacho Ojike reiterated his command's commitment to bring unlawful businesses to the barest minimum.
Even when they get to the market, their sources, we still go after them. So there's no way we will allow them to rest. And that is why we're in the business of hunting them down, of anti-smuggling.
The National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency and Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Services were also on ground to receive seized drugs and donkey skin respectively.
Exportation of donkey skin is prohibited because donkeys in Nigeria have been declared endangered species. As a result, they cannot be allowed for exportation.
My appeal for those people is to stop and to come to our office and follow the right channel. If they want to go into manufacturing, if they want to go into importation, there is a right procedure of importation of drugs. So let them come to our office and look for the right channel and the right means how to go into drug business.
All the agencies involved are more determined to collaborate with each other with a common goal to rid the economy of miscreants shortchanging the economy. In Burinkebi, Japari Sobilo, NTA News.
The National Orientation Agency, NOAA, National Value Charter is to promote the spirit of patriotism, shared values, and guidance towards the united, prosperous, and just society. This came to the fore at a town hall meeting in Sokoto organized by the agency on the national anthem and national value charter. Dalata Abdullahi reports.
The nationwide campaign is aimed at sensitizing the people on government policies and programs initiated to bring succor to the citizens. These include the interest-free student loan targeting over 20,000 students, President Compressed National Gas Initiative CNG, Nigerian Youth Investment Fund NYIF, agriculture and food security initiatives, among others. Declaring the meeting open, the Director General National Orientation Agency NOAA, Lanre Isa Onilu, represented, says the campaign is going on in all the 36 states and the FCT Abuja, as well as the 774 local government areas across the country. The National Identity Project tagged 747 and the Citizens Code are critical in redirecting the people, irrespective of diverse backgrounds, toward a greater Nigeria.
To encourage the citizens also to
to love one another. We should patriotism and tolerate one another as citizens of Nigeria.
While bearing the minds on the qualities of good citizen, the stakeholders advocate peaceful coexistence among Nigerians for the development of the country. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's all from this end for now. It's now back to Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Sadia. All right, we join our correspondent now, Onotu Yakobo. He's at Sabon Lugbe here in the Federal Capital Territory. I'm sure you're aware of a building collapse in that area yesterday. Onotu, I can see you. Yesterday, we got confirmation of 10 persons confirmed dead. What are your findings, going by your updates?
Well, thank you, Ruth. As the situation where, as at yesterday, the FCT Police Command, who, of course, is an established state actor in situations like this, readily issued a press statement through the command's public relations officer, Superintendent of Police Josephine Ade, who indicated that as at afternoon yesterday, the search and rescue operation was still on, and that two fatalities were confirmed, while 5 as at then had been rescued. The official record as at that yesterday afternoon, from what I gathered on arrival to this location, of course, across the road from the other side, across this gully from the other side, is the area where the incident happened. What I gathered on arrival was that on the close of the operation as at yesterday evening, there wasn't any other rescue of human being or any other person trapped underneath the rubble of the demolished structures. So, by and large, on official ground, I think the records of those who are affected still stands at what the statement the police issued yesterday as a state actor in management of such situations. For now, that is the situation. But on arrival here, in fact, part of the reason why I had to pull out from far back as the foot of the mountain behind me there is where the operation took place. On arrival at that location, in fact, on our driving towards the area, the intelligence I got from some locals informed us that the area is not safe. The reason being that since the demolition, since the search and rescue operation closed, members of scavengers colonies took over control of the place, scouting for, of course, metal resources around the demolished estate. So, in fact, part of what I gathered on arrival here is that there has been fracas between them over the control of the resources around the area. So, by and large, for now, the area is a bit frenzy for security reasons. The people living advised that being a state establishment, we shouldn't risk going in there. So we had to pull out for safety and then look for a safe location to establish the situation around here. But for now, the search and rescue operation has closed, and the state officials have evacuated the place on close of the search and rescue operation to confirm that nobody is stuck under the rubble of the structures.
All right, Onotu, thank you for that detailed update. We'll definitely keep up with developments as they unfold, and please stay safe out there. Thank you. All right, our correspondent there from a part in the FCT. Senate Ad Hoc Committee witnesses illegal mining activities within the premises of the National Iron Ore Mining Company in Itakpe, Kogi State, during an on-the-spot assessment visit. National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed will tell us more.
The visit to National Iron Ore Mining Company, Itakpe, a critical component in the development of the country's iron and steel sector, was part of an investigation.
Our expectation is to see this place producing.
A heartwarming story from the mining factory is that the plant, when revived, has the capacity to produce raw materials not just for Ajakuta steel production, but also viable for other revenue-generating activities, the committee says.
It's clear to me that given the challenges of Ajakuta at this point, that this place can actually function whilst Ajakuta is being put together. And I tell you why I say so. The product of this Neogum is something that the entire steel industry utilizes.
What we should take positively is that the natural resources are still on ground. They have not been destroyed. So that means all we need to do as a country is put our head and intentionally begin to resuscitate and revive the steel industry.
An unexpected aspect of the tour was the committee's citing of illegal mining activities in the forest within the grounds of the mining company, as the absence of perimeter fencing makes it easy for trespassing. The National Iron Ore Mining Company, Itepe, the plant has the nominal capacity at 2.15 million tons per year. From the National Iron Ore Mining Company, Itepe, in Kogi State, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
Ibadan is our next stop as we join Kemi for some more reports.
Thank you, Ruth, and welcome to Ibadan. Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun is reaffirming the commitment of the state government to hosting the 2024 National Sport Festival that will be a reference point in the history of the festival in 2025. This was during an inspection tour of construction projects and some facilities in Abeokuta. Lekon Agbode reports.
As the clocks tick towards the January 2025 takeoff date of the National Sports Festival to be hosted by Ogun State, the state government has expressed commitment to a successful outing, as many of the outdoors and indoor sports facilities to be used during the festival are currently undergoing transformation. Governor Dapo Abiodun inspected the Olympic-sized swimming pool, practicing pool, handball and tennis courts under construction, and the main bowl where the tartan tracks and the football pitch have been removed for total renovation. The governor and his entourage, who also inspected the Ijeja Sports Complex, promised that the facilities therein will be turned to a state-of-the-art for a glorious festival, expressed satisfaction with the level of work done so far.
The surface is being prepared in readiness for concrete work and then the eventual laying of the turf. The track itself has been totally removed. The drains have been opened. They're going to ensure that the pitch cambers enough so that when it rains, it drains into the drain to avoid what has happened in the past. The track is also being gotten ready. I'm very satisfied with the level of professionalism that's been demonstrated by the contractors.
Governor Abiodun says his administration is fully aware of the importance of sports towards empowerment of youth and overall development of the state. Notes that adequate attention will be given to sports development in the state. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbode, NTA News.
The National Orientation Agency has launched a campaign for National Identity Project with the aim of instilling spirits of patriotism among Nigerians. The NOA Director General, Lanre Isaonilu, launched the campaign at a town hall stakeholders meeting held in Ibadan. Ayomiku Ajibola has the reports.
Educating the gathering on the need for Nigerians to embrace National Identity Project, which focused on integrity, hard work, discipline, patriotism and respect for diversity, the NOA Director General noted that these are the core values and principles together as one nation. He therefore urged participants to spread the message to their members, as this will help them to believe and have trust in the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu's government.
Our core values have been grossly eroded, and NOAA saw that this is a huge gap, and if we don't embrace our core values, we will not achieve the type of Nigeria that we want to achieve.
For the country to go back to the stage of economic prosperity, hard work is a virtue that we used to have. It must come back.
Participants are optimistic that the event is on the track to achieve its target, while urging NOA not to relent on its sensitization program.
We are talking about change. We're supposed to change, so let another person to be changed.
Highlight of the event was a display of drama involving the three major ethnic groups to convey a message of national identity and its role in fostering social cohesion and economic growth of the nation. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. Nationwide will continue with Abubakar in Maiduguri after this timeout. Do stay with us.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying demand. We make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we are more than just a nation. We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
I think Amaka should just move out of the house. Yes.
No. Standing out of the house is not the right thing to do.
Oh, there you go again with your sentimental family stuff.
Baby, if our aim is to stop this affair, it is best achieved under our roof.
You do something terrible, and you'll be acting innocent.
What are you going on about?
Don't ask me that question again. You couldn't even control yourself in the presence of our visitors.
What are you accusing me of, woman?
My son, I don't know how serious you are with my daughter, but there's something that needs to be done urgently before you move any further.
Anything, just anything, just say it. I'm ready to do anything.
There is a spell that needs to be removed.
A spell?
Family forever, the story of our lives.
Why do we have to arrange all the goodies into a tower? We should all take what we want, as we want, and when we want.
From pets, it's important to secure the goodies and protect them for everyone. We want to make sure there's enough for everyone, even on a rainy day.
I don't see the point.
Oh no! Our tower! No! From pets!
Oh, sorry.
This is a perfect example of how one poor choice can bring down something so great.
And how one small good action can make a big difference.
Remember, everyone, let's focus on making the right choices and doing small acts of goodness. Together, we can build something even more magnificent for everyone and ensure that it lasts.
The federal government of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables, and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
Hope you are still there.
We have more reports for you as Nationwide now continues in Maiduguri. In commemoration of World Polio Day, UNICEF and partners have joined forces with Borno State Health Sector to raise awareness about polio eradication. Despite ongoing efforts, Nigeria still grapples with a growing number of unvaccinated children, leading to outbreaks and deaths among children under 5. Pauline Kujevana completes the story.
Borno State Ministry of Health, Primary Health Care Development Board, UNICEF and other humanitarian partners staged this roadwork to highlight global efforts towards eradicating this preventable disease called polio. UNICEF Chief of Maiduguri Field Office, Dr. Jarida Barukila, emphasized the importance of routine immunization services for newborns and children under 5 against childhood diseases like polio, measles, and tetanus.
Most importantly, also today we are launching a song called No More Zero Dose. Zero dose are regarded as children who have not received some form of routine immunization.
While Borno State government is set to ensuring policy support and implementation of polio programs, key partners like UNICEF pledge to providing critical support and guidance, while WHO to offering technical expertise and global coordination, with Rotary Club International to mobilizing resources and community engagement. The commemoration of the Polio Day shows critical role of vaccination in preventing polio and celebrate progress made towards its elimination, given the fact that if a child is not immunized, the chance of death and damage is very high. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Away from that, now to tell you that the recent flood disaster in Maiduguri and its surroundings has severely impacted the dignity of humans, particularly in terms of social, economic, civil, and political rights. This harsh reality was highlighted during a one-day engagement with stakeholders in Borno State organized by the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC. Here again is Pauline Kujevana with the rest of the story.
The workshop, part of National Human Rights Commission's tripartite partnership support mission in Nigeria, brought together participants from the media, religious and community leaders, as well as human rights partners, to be empowered with the best approaches to disaster response and human rights situations. Executive Secretary Tony Ojukwu, represented by Hilary Ogbonna, emphasized the importance of human rights-based approach in disaster management, using the recent flood disaster as a case study.
The principles of transparency, the principles of dignity and gender equality, to ensure that the most impacted and the most vulnerable people in the society, including women and children, persons with disabilities, persons who are already facing vulnerabilities as a result of the conflict. We hope that the state government will prioritize these people.
Obioha Ben Okoro, Chief Legal Officer of NHRC, focus on best practices in community-based human rights protection during disaster and emergencies, drawing lessons from the community-based interventions in Borno, while the state coordinator Jumai Michelia provided an overview of human rights in the state. The workshop sparked responses and discussions among participants on the way forward, with a pledge to monitor and prevent human rights violations and excesses, particularly crucial amidst the ongoing distribution of food and flood relief funds to affected victims. By prioritizing human rights, the NHRC and stakeholders aim to restore dignity and ensure the well-being of those impacted by the flood disaster. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
It's now time to return to NTA's Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you, Abubakar. The federal government has expressed satisfaction with responses of some state governments who have announced their new minimum wage following the declaration by the federal government. Secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, who was in the State House to discuss state affairs with President Bola Tinubu, was a significant member of the tripartite committee on the national minimum wage. While reiterating federal government's commitment to the new pay benchmark, the SGF urges the sub-nationals to ensure implementation. And we're done with Nationwide. Thank you for your company. Do have a lovely evening. I'm Ruth Aguilera. Bye.
Are you a tech enthusiast?
Perhaps you want to know more about the devices and gadgets you use.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balance.
Canada and Mexico use the following satellite parameters.
You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.